So on today's video I want to talk to you about ornamental grasses, and I know you know that I'm really into ornamental grasses. All the people who watch my videos on a regular basis will know that I'm into ornamental grasses. So this one is called Erigrostis curvula, and it's commonly called the African lovegrass. This particular one comes through one called Totnes burgundy, and the reason is quite obvious, as you can see from that colour, the burgundy colour within its leaves. Now the unusual thing about this particular plant and all the other ones that I have of this is that this actually came from the original Erigrostis Totnes burgundy that I bought some time ago, in fact probably 5 years ago, and the original plant is now gone, has died. But what happened to that plant was it actually produced what we call vivipara, and that is basically, it set some actual plants off the tips. So as it was growing, instead of producing seeds like it has here, it produced little baby grasses. So I thought because it was green, they would just be green, but decided that I would keep them. So I kept every one of them. I think there was about, if memory serves me right, there was probably just slightly less than 10. So slightly less than 10, 9. No, I don't honestly know. I don't honestly know how many I had. But anyway, basically, I kept them all. And then the next year, they actually turned to this colour. So I guess technically, we can't call this Totnes burgundy, although it came from Totnes burgundy. So actually, I could sell this as something totally unique. I won't, because Totnes burgundy is beautiful and deserves to be out there. It's a lovely grass, and as you can see from here, it has this lovely curving, hence the curvula. Now I've seen one like this, in fact this, not this exact one, but the one down at Knoll Gardens in Dorset at their nursery that was at least 2 foot dripping downwards, so the leaves were dropping down 2 foot, and they had it in a plant pot that was raised up, and it was beautiful. And that's what I'm trying to do with these. Now it takes a bit of time to get them to that point. These are a few years old now, but gradually they are starting to get mature, so they are starting to get that droopy look on the leaves, and it's looking great. So because I've got it on the deck, the sun rises over to the right of what I'm filming, and it casts light through this grass, and the green is a lovely bluey green. I don't know if that's coming over. It's looking quite nice. It's a fresh green, but also the red of the burgundy, and it looks fantastic. Now this looks good in the garden, but if you get this one, I'd recommend you keep it in a pot, because experience has taught me that this particular grass looks better in a pot if you can raise it off the ground like here. The downside is you need to water it, and you need to frequently water it, because this particular grass, it does die very fast if you're not careful. I also feed them, as you know, I feed all my plants that are in pots on a weekly basis. So do that and it will reward you with this beautiful look. One of the downsides to any Erigrostis is that it does freely seed around, which isn't a bad thing, I guess, really. Now at some point, just before they go over, especially in my nursery beds, what I do is I actually take off all the seeds. I just cut the lot off, just so they're not seeding around the nursery. And there's several varieties I have to do that to, in particular another one called Deschampsia that I have to do that to. But anyway, don't let that put you off. As you can see from here, it looks beautiful. Now the reason I'm bringing you to this angle is to show you my favourite grass, and because it's windy today, we're getting to see it in all its true beauty, and the reason that I have it. It is just absolutely stunning when you see it being blown around in the wind, as it is doing there. So that one is Calamagrostis acutiflora Carl Forster. Beautiful. And just to the left here, or is it there? That one's called Waldenbush. Now, I talk about these two grasses all the time, and I put them together to show you the difference. And there's also Cal Forster to the left there. So perfect example of what happens with these grasses. So Waldenbush, although beautiful at this time of year, doesn't have the flowing ability that Cal Forster does, as you can see. And Cal Forster reminds me of a cornfield. And I think that's probably why I got into these. I used to live in a little village called Rothwell, which isn't too far from me. And often we'd lie in the barley fields, and the barley would do this at this time of year, sway around like that. So I reckon that's where I got that love and passion of grasses from. Now, as you can see, I plant this one en masse because of that look that I'm getting right now. And every year that I see this, it's like a new experience again. I just absolutely love it. The beauty of that one, as you all know, because I tell you every time I come on, is that it's a sterile hybrid, or virtually sterile, rarely ever produces a seedling. So you're pretty safe with that one. Whereas with Waldenbush, which is the more straw-coloured one, point it again, there, that one is likely to seed. But don't let that put you off either, because they are beautiful. So if you're going to start on grasses, go for that one. Definitely a good choice. And it is beautiful. And no doubt as I'm going to see some of the other grasses, we'll keep walking past that and I'll be getting excited again. Because I do every time I see it. It's a beauty. So if we put it in line with that, you can see why I love grasses. So we'll just turn around now because we have other grasses here. Now there's another one here called Curex, and this one's called Curex testacea, the orange sedge. There is another one called Dipsacea, which is an olive green, which I don't have anymore, but I will get hold of it at some point again. I actually prefer the other one to this one, but this is nice because it has this orange leaf, which people seem to like. And the common name, I think, is it prairie fire. I think it's sold as under its common name, but basically they're all the same. Don't be fooled by that. So it produces these dark seed heads, and these will seed true. And they're brilliant if you want to keep them in pots, or if you want to put them in the garden. Now buyer beware if you put it in the garden, because the common name of this one is called Trip Me Up, for a very good reason. These particular stalks, they will get to about 2, if not 3 foot on the ground, and as you're walking past them, they often trip you up. A very nice plant, gets to about, I'd say, 1 foot high, maybe a little bit more, and it slowly clumps, getting bigger, but probably won't make more than probably half a foot, 6 inches, maybe 8, 9, 10 inches, not much more than that, but it will seed around, so beware of that. So that's a great one if you're looking for something more orangey. Beautiful. Okay, so we'll move over to another Calamagrostis, because I love Calamagrostis. And this one here is one called Avalanche. And it's a beauty. And what I like about this one is this creamy stem that it has. And it does run into the seed heads. Not so obvious on this plant because it is a smaller plant. I've put into this plant just recently. And it's looking great already. It looks absolutely beautiful. So this one possibly will seed for you. I never find them, so whether that's true or not, I don't know, but I never find them. But I can't guarantee that it won't. So we'll walk up this way and just show you this. This is just another Calamagrostis and Waldenbush. Very tall, very upright, great at this time of year. Looks fantastic. If you're looking for something vertical in your borders, grasses is the thing to get, because they don't require a lot of maintenance, and if you put them in a flower border, then these will come up as a vertical accent and a great look if you plant them en masse. So don't be afraid to plant loads of them. They look great. China Clover rubra, my favourite medium-sized grass. Hailing from New Zealand, a clump former. It's full of seeds at the moment. I've several of these around. In fact, if I point the camera that way, you can see 2 of them in the shot. One further in the background, I'll show you for those that can't see that. That one there, and obviously this one here. It's a China Clover rubra, brilliant. I absolutely love it. It can take around 5 years to get to maturity. The one you're looking at on the right is at its mature stage. Now, it looks a little bit smaller than it has done previously, but this year's been a terrible year. But once we get back to more rain, it should catch up again and it'll be fine. It'll be fine anyway. The seeds, now then, don't assume because this has got hundreds of seeds within it that it's going to seed all over. I've never ever found a seedling, ever. I've tried to grow it from seed, not been very successful. So China Chlorobra is more beneficial to get a plant established in the garden, get it in there for about 2 or 3 years, and then split it down at the right time of the year. That's really when it's actively growing, as with most plants and most grasses. So split it, put it into a minimum of a 1 litre pot. And then hopefully you should get more and more plants, because these are hard to get hold of. You can't get them in many garden centres. In fact, I've never seen them in a garden centre because they're not viable for them. They don't make enough money at it. But what they don't see is this beauty that we see, us grass lovers. So I love that one, absolutely love it. Where should we go next? Oh, it's so exciting. Oh, here we go, look. Cortaderia richardii. My favourite big grass. What a grass. Another New Zealand one, commonly called the New Zealand Toto. And it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It is big, I'll give you that. It's a big grass. What's that now? 7, 8 foot, at least 8 foot tall. And then it clumps. And the clump can get fairly big, but that isn't a problem if you've got the big enough border. You know, sacrifice some of your plants. Don't care about all the plants. Get this one in. That takes the place of at least 5 or 6 other perennials that you could put next to it. Have this instead. This is a real showstopper. And if you've got this one in your garden, you're going to definitely get some attention. And it's beautiful. So what are we in now? July, early July, first week of July. And that's the phase that it's at. It will fluff up a bit and it will set seeds around. Now, you do find them. Make no bones about that. You will find seedlings. Unfortunately, a lot of them tend to just die away. They just don't make it for some reason. I don't think they really like pots, because I always lift them and put them into pots. What the best way to do it is actually take splits of a mature plant, or wait for that plant that you found as a seedling, let it mature a bit, and then lift it and put it in a pot, if that's what you want to do. They do look good in pots, but as you can see from that, it's huge. Now, planted en masse, I bet this looks amazing. In fact, I've actually seen pictures of this in its native place in New Zealand. So it looks fantastic planted en masse, especially on hillsides. Fantastic. Get it, it's worth getting. Just because of the size of it, don't let that put you off. I always tell you that. Please don't let that worry you. That's what you get as a reward for letting it take up so much space. It's evergreen. What I do is I cut away all of those stalks as autumn approaches sometimes, because what's happened is most of the seed heads or the seeds will have dropped away. So you're left with just a little stick really. So that's why I do that. Just take them off and I leave the green of the clump of the grass itself. And I remove some of the dead grass. So that's Cortaderia richardii, my favourite big pampas grass. Fantastic. So this is Lamus arenaris, and you will find this, if you live in Cleethorpes near me, not far from me, you'll find this on the sandbanks, on the dunes, because that's where it lives naturally. Now, I won't ever put this in the garden. I see people making this mistake all the time. And when I was on Gardener of the Year show back in 2004, Monty Don asked about this grass, and he asked where it was. And I did give him instructions not to put it in the garden, not to put it in any border, but to keep it in a pot. And I noticed after that show, it's easy for me to say this because I can't prove this and you can't disprove it, but he did put it in his garden. And that was a big mistake, and I think he did realise very quickly and took it out. So let's hope he's still got it, and he's got it in a pot. But I've never seen it, never seen it on film. But it's a beauty, it's blue, spreads all over. I keep it in that 40-gallon oil drum that I've cut in half, and that contains it. Now, the downside to that, every 3 or 4 years you need to lift it out, split it back up, get it back into some fresh compost to improve its look. But the blue is amazing, and then the wheat-like seeds that it has, beautiful, absolutely beautiful, very upright, and they do look just like wheat. And again, it goes back to my time as a kid in Rothwell, when I used to see these on a regular basis in acres and acres of field. Obviously they weren't Lamus arenaris, they were just corn, but that's what you get, that's the look. Beautiful. Okay, so we'll move on to this one. Now this is Elemus magellanicus. Beautiful, beautiful grass. Blue, the bluest grass you'll ever come across. Let's get closer to it. And that is truly a stunner. It seeds around, but not very much. I never see enough of that one. I'd like to see more of it in the garden, but never do. That is actually a seedling from 3 years ago. And it's doing all right. So if you're looking for a blue grass in a gravel garden, that's the one. Don't go for the blue fescues, it's just too common. Everybody has blue fescues, and the downside to blue fescues is they need regular maintenance and they do need regular splitting, whereas these have been in here for, well, the one here has been here for 4 years. Never had to split it, never done much. Does prefer a drier location. As you can see, that's what I've created here. It's in the gravel garden bit and it's looking fantastic. Is there any other grasses up here I can show you? Oh, we've got the Steeper Gigantea at the moment. That's the golden oats. It's not doing much this year. It was planted last year. Now next year it will flower. But we'll not bother talking about that one because it's not really showing anything at the moment. It's not really Miscanthus season, but I'll show you this one. This is one called Samurai, Miscanthus sinensis Samurai. It has this colour from the word go, really. Not done so well this year, but I have split it as well. The dry conditions it does not favour. So it's not grown as well, so we won't linger on that. This is one grass that you're going to want to get into your garden at some point, and this one's called Miscanthus sinensis Memory. And it's named after a great grassman or great nurseryman called Ernst Pagels, who was a real pioneer of grasses. And you'll see why once we get into the season where it sets its seeds. Beautiful, flowing, blonde-looking seeds that blow gracefully in the wind. Absolutely, I can't. I'm trying to paint a picture for you here, but it does. It does go gracefully. Oh, while we're here, oh, we better not miss this. First one I've seen. Digitalis. I know it's not a video about the other plants, but Digitalis, and we now know that this is Ferruginea gigantea, and it's just started flowering, the first one. Beautiful. And I put these with my grasses because, as you can see, they're a great combination. Let's get a better view for you. There you go. Look at that. What a combination. And that's why I grow this type of plant with it. The tall spire-like seed heads, or flower heads in this case, with the grasses. Fantastic. And while we're here, more poppies, more Shirley poppies. These came from my original scattering of seeds of this particular poppy. So every year I have to leave a few of them and see what comes up. Some are better than others. That's the true form of Shirley poppy. That one isn't. You can't class that as a Shirley poppy because it's got that black. It needs the white or even that to be confirmed as a Shirley poppy. But this isn't about that. Right, okay, so while we're here, let's go with this one. This one is a Millennia, and this one's called Storm Cloud. Now, I found no reference to this at all on the internet, so I believe it to be a grass that somebody's found and decided to call it Storm Cloud, because that's what happens. Now, it's not in the best position, but then again, we haven't had the best year, and I moved this, actually, quite late last year. I should have moved it in spring, so it got better established rather than in September. So it's better to move them in the spring than it is in late season, although I move them both ends. Just keep your eye on them. It really requires more moisture. We've had a dry season, and that's why it's not very big now. It's not seeding yet, and its seeds will reach up on this particular one only to about 4 foot, but they are beautiful grasses to include in your border. I'll show you another one. Now this one is finally starting to show its seed. Now this is only the beginning of it, so these are tiny. Let's try and get a better shot. There you go. So they get really tall. They get to 7-8 foot even on a good year. It's not been the best year, so they're only just starting, but they will be lovely and they will dance in the wind. So that's a good one. So what's the size of those? I'm just comparing it to my leg. They're about 2 foot in leaf, but as I said, the seed heads will go up to about 7 foot, so they'll reach as high as that. Let's show you that one. They'll reach as high as that easily. if not more. Now, I always mention this grass, as you know, Miscanthus lutaria riparius. It's really let me down this year. Not doing very well at all. An aggressive runner, likes moisture. It's had a really dry start and it's not really had much rain at all on it. So it's 3 foot, if not 4 foot shorter than it would have been this time last year. It's one of them things, got to put up with that. I don't mind that because I know next year it'll be brilliant. It'll be back to up to its usual size. That's if we get enough rain. So if we get a good start to the spring, it'll be brilliant. But as of yet, no, not so great. Now, the beauty about this one is this plummy colour that it produces up the stem at this time of year. It'll go so far up and then it does stop and then it goes back to the green leaf. But it's nice. It's a nice grass to have. If you've got a jungle garden, look it out, but keep it in a pot. Or if you've got it in the ground as I have here, keep it in a bamboo barrier because it needs to be. Now this is well worth looking at in another probably 2 weeks. This is Pennisetum macrorum. It's just about to start its seed journey. Shall we call it a seed journey? And them seeds push up and they look like pipe cleaners. But once they're all out, they look absolutely wonderful. So I'll not linger on that one because there's no point in showing you it. But if you get the name and go into the garden centres, sometimes you do find that one. But be careful because it will seed around, which I love. And again, I pot them up, but it does spread as well. So let's have a look, see if we can see. Yeah, there you go. So it's starting to spread out from the main clump. And what I would do, I would put my spade in there and dig that little section out. This section here, I would dig that out and pot it up. Now at first when you do that, this particular grass tends to sulk. It absolutely hates it. Persevere with it, keep it watered, and it will reward you later on. Honestly, it will. Trust me. Borders are looking great, just looking for more grasses for you. I've got them everywhere. I forget what I've got, to be honest. Totally forget. Now it's too early for the panicum, so I'm not even going to go into this one. This one's called Northwind. It's too early, that will be very, very upright. I'll do another video on these types of grasses as we get later in the season. So just watch out for that video. Nice euchre there, that's Villosa. What a beauty. What an absolute... I've got a few of those now. I bought the original one up in Yorkshire and then decided I liked it so much, actually found it in the garden centre. So I bought a few more. Oh, that's suffering a bit, isn't it? Anyway, let's carry on. So Hakanakloa. Hakanakloa is beautiful, the Japanese forest grass. I have several different varieties of this one. This one's looking fantastic. Look at that. I love it. And it goes an orange colour in autumn once it starts taking the leaves back, because it is a deciduous, so it does die back. It will go bright orange. So another spectacular show. Well, to look forward to anyway. Well, it is to me. And it will seed. It'll send up little seeds above all that clump. You do find them. I can't say I've honestly ever found one of these seeds, an Hakanakloa seed, of any variety. So if you want to increase your stock, you're going to have to split them. I have several of these in the garden. Let's show you a nice one that I think most people would prefer, because you all like variegated grasses. I don't know why, but you do. So this one is Aureola. I'll show you a better one when we go down the garden, but because we're so close, I'll show you that one. There you go. So that's Aureola, Hakanakloa Aureola, in the Japanese garden. And it's going to take some time before it gets its clump going. They can take 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe longer years to get going. But don't let that put you off. Put them in. Enjoy the journey. I forgot to mention this, didn't I? So, Miscanthus. And it's condensatus type with lovely leaves. And it will flower and it will have the most huge seed heads of pink. But we've got to wait a bit longer for that. So probably not worth showing you that one either at the moment. This is Andropogon gradii. And it gets tall, upright, and very tight seed heads, which makes it beautiful. Love that one actually. And then this one here, a bit more rare to get hold of. This is another Calamagrostis called Kyger's Giant. What a wonderful name. It comes from Kyrgyzstan and it's purported to live in valleys high up on mountains where it has been claimed that it can take -50. -50! I can't even imagine that. But this grass can take those conditions. It's doing really well. I've put it back into the garden. I've put it in and out of the garden over the last 4 or 5 years. And finally, it's doing really well. So I take it from the position it's in at the minute that the more rough the ground, the better. Because it grows in little stony valleys up on those mountains. I've got it too close to the box edge. So I've got to think about this now. So maybe in spring, I will move it towards the back of the wall where it'll have all the space it needs, because eventually this euphorbia will bite the bullet and I will be moving it. In fact, I need to take those seed heads off of that. Another great grass, if you're into smaller grasses, this one here, this is not its time. It's gone through its best. It's called Millimethusum aureum, as you can see from the label. Well, you can if you tilt your head. And the beauty of that one is it's very early and it's a very yellowy grass. And then it produces these lovely seed heads, which are fantastic. There's another grass back there. We've kind of gone over on this one. So this clumping one is called Cesallaria nitida. And it's wonderful for early season. Produces little seed heads. And they should set true seeds. And it's a beauty. Planted en masse again, it's lovely. Now, so what I did last year was, this year, beginning of the year, I actually cut it back into its clump because it was looking a bit untidy. But it's a beautiful, small, blue grass. So again, better than any of the fescues with its blue look. Fescues are okay, but too common for my liking. Now just behind them, we have Catananci caerulea. And again, I plant that because they look good with grasses. To be honest with you, I could do with putting more grasses around that plant and it would look even better. But it's a nice one. So that's Cesallaria nitida. There is another one called Autumnalis that's more common in the garden centres, but believe me, it's rubbish. It really is rubbish. It's okay, but not as good as that one. So avoid it. Okay, let's move on to this one. This is terrible this year. I like to show this every year because it's the first grass I ever planted. In fact, it's the first plant I ever put at Grassy Bottom. And the fame of this one is that it's a clump former. It produces a longitudinal stripe like that, so it goes up and down. And each one produces a different one, different type of stripe. It's beautiful, but it usually makes about 7 foot. Now, I'm recording this, it's about 6. Again, all down to the year. In fact, let's show you the best part of this one. Is that one there. Look at that leaf in the background. Really striped that one this year. That's the first time I've ever seen one as stripy as that. So that one's called Miscanthus jubilaris. A good clump forming grass, especially if you've got a jungle garden that you want to impress your friends with. Get hold of that one, it's lovely. We've got another one here. This is another striped one. This is called Cabaret. Miscanthus Cabaret. Now, the only downside to this one is it never flowers for me, and it never will up at this part of the country. It's just too far up. We don't get enough heat on that one. So it is what it is. Now, this is a beauty. This is found by Pete Oodolf, this particular variety, and named by him. And again, it's I don't think I've mentioned this one. So this is a Melinia, and it's a Melinia called Melinia Crystal Veil. I had to think then, I've got that many. Now you're going to have to excuse the noise because it sounds to me like they're doing some more tree work across at the school, but that's good. Again, we've got Miscanthus, not worth showing you yet. We'll not even tell you about that at the moment. And then another Melinia, and again, not doing its thing just yet. It's a little bit early for Melinias. We're not far off. They're all starting to push up flower heads, but another month and they'll be huge. Behind it, we have got a Miscanthus that has decided it's going to send at least one flower up. Well, no, that's a lie. There's several now. There was only one flower the other day. And they're very small this year, very small, but they will get bigger as the season goes along. So it tends to push up 1 or 2. It's almost testing whether it's worth sending up its mates. And it is. Get them up there. Come on, let's have you up, lads. And it will help if you would water this one. If it's looking a little bit lax, get some water in there. Forget the bill. Forget your water bill. Remember, if you paid 15, 20, 25 pound for a plant like this, you need to look after it, and another £1 on watering is not going to break the bank. Or it shouldn't. Maybe it does for you, but it doesn't for me. So that's a good clump form, very, very old variety. And that one is called Miscanthus Poseidon. It'll be better showing you that one when we get further on. But while we're here, let's show you this. Oh, look at that. Don't you just like these poppies when they do that? It's my favourite bit. Once they start turning brown, I lift them, I pull them out, throw them away into, well, take them to your local tip, because you don't want them seeding all over your garden. I've got them all over the garden, but they produce so many seeds that eventually they will cause you a problem. So keep on top of that. Now this again is Calamagrostis Avalanche. He's under the shade, just to prove to you that they do okay under the shade. Behind it, we've got the pheasant tail grass. This is quite a common grass, and garden centres grow this one because it's so easy to grow. They make lots of money out of you lot, and you'll pay probably £6, £7, £8 for a pot of that, a 1 litre or 2 litre pot. And that is a very aggressive self-seeder. I can almost guarantee, I'm not going to look, but I'm going to take you down there in a minute and have a look around it, and I can almost guarantee there'll be several babies. And that's what I'm saying, don't buy too many. Yeah. Here we go, there's loads there. It's not all that, this is the rice grass, but there are several. There's a good sized one through there. Let's show you that one there, that's a good seedling. Let's move it on, there you go, seedling, and it'll produce hundreds of seedlings. So beware of that one. Make sure you rip away all of those seed heads. So once they produce, I'll show you how easy it is to do it as well. I don't mind pulling them out because it's something you should do if you're getting into this grass. There you go, I've just pulled that out. So easy to pull out. There you go, get rid of lots of them. Let them do it, get them through that sort of period, and then pull them out. Or it'll be everywhere. And then you'll be sending me messages telling me off for recommending that. But I do recommend it, it's beautiful. It will grow where other grasses won't grow. It's under the tree here and it's doing very well, and they do grow well under trees. And this is a grass that puts itself just where it likes it. So dry conditions, won't like it too wet, but it will grow in a wooded condition at the edges of your wood or your woodland, if you're privileged enough to have a wood, which I haven't. And it's been held back a little bit by the stuff that's around it, so it's not flowing like it would do if it was on its own. But it's good, it's a nice one to get. I will not talk about this grass because we think that's the mule. I think it's more likely, as I'm looking at it now, to be Acnophorum calamagrostis. I thought it was a mule, wasn't looking as it should, but it is in shade here, so it wasn't looking as it should. So we'll not talk about that, but we will talk about this one. Now this one is called, I call it Girava Itchu still. So steeper Itchu, whatever different names it's got. And the beauty of it, there are better ones than this, to be quite honest with you. There are better plants with this long, what we call an awn seed head. They're massive, they're long. They're not even at the full length yet, but they're beautiful. And they do seed around, but be careful because often they will die through winter. It's not as hardy as we would like, but it's hardy enough and it's beautiful. If you want, let's try and get you in a better position. It's absolutely beautiful. As I said, there are better ones. I only mean as in the seed heads. There's one called Stipa barbata, which has got a very long and fine seed head, which just billows in the wind, and it's beautiful. I must get hold of that one again, actually. Now I've mentioned it, I'll probably have one by the end of the day. So it's a good one. Girava Itchu, what a beautiful, beautiful grass. And it's better than Stipa tenuissima, which has now changed its name, but ponytails. This is way better. A more classy, bigger, larger, taller grass that outcompetes the ponytail one by a mile. Look at this. We've got Achinocloa in here with the silver birch. And I planted them in here deliberately after several failed attempts at other plants. Finally, the Achinocloa is starting to look good, basically. And I've got 4 of them, and I'm hoping that over time they will come up to the tree, which they will, because they'll make 2 foot each. Now, I'm regularly putting water on this. I have to, especially this year, because the birches do suffer in dry weather. So if your silver birch is suffering, bang 4 gallons of water onto it. Help it along, because in times of drought, they really do need help. But the Achinocloa wouldn't really have needed all that water, but I'm pouring it down quite a lot here because of the birch. Now, next to it, I've had this many times in many other gardens, and we'll show you the label on this because it's still here, so I don't have to actually show you on screen. Tasmanthium latifolium, the wood millet, and it's beautiful. It's very tall and upright, and it produces flat seed heads. Very flat seed heads. They're not out yet. They are producing them. Look, each one of them. That'll be a seed head. Beautiful. So, not much to show you at the minute on that. Again, behind, there we go. Miscanthus. Is it a condens? Yeah, it's a condensatus type. Some people say giganteus as well with it, but that's cabaret, with a broader white stripe in the middle. But for me, won't flower. Terrible. Deschampsia. I've got lots of Deschampias, and I'll show you another good one in a minute. This Deschampsia is one called Gold Tow, and I recommend this all the time because it's long lasting. One of the later ones to flower. It has this very fine seed head, as you can see, and Gold Tow means, I think it means gold dew, something like. Oh, look at them weeds back there. Oh God, look at that one. That's a massive one. Must get that out when I ever think on late. I'm not going to grab that back with my hand. It's a spiky one. We'll get that later. Anyway, back to this. So Deschampsia is beautiful. Prefer moisture, bit of sun. Prefer more sun than shade, but will grow in slight shade as they are doing here. But the one at the back here is not as tall as the ones that are getting more sun. But don't let that put you off. They will seed around. So watch for those. And if you want to keep it true, the type you bought, simply split it. In spring, early spring, split it, lift it, pull it apart, rip it to bits, bang loads back in, and it'll reward you by growing loads. This all came from the same plant. In fact, I've got about 20 others in my nursery area that all come from the same plant. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? I know I go on about it. I know I get excited. But look at that. Who wouldn't when they see that? Stunning. Absolutely stunning. So there's a panicum here called Thundercloud, and there's no point in showing you much at the moment because another 2 months that'll be twice the height, and it produces very fine seed heads above it, which were also blue. The seeds themselves will be blue. Beautiful, that one, but no point in showing you much at the moment. Oh God, it's doing it again. Oh, I love to wake up and see that, especially at this phase, because the seed heads have now closed up, so we're in phase 3 of the actual seed head. So it starts as that, but green, opens up to a purpley tinge, and then it closes back up to that, and then eventually it becomes rigid and straw-like, and then we lose all of that, all of it. We won't get none of that flowing, but hey, who cares, because at this time of year it's beautiful. But in winter it still has something to offer, because it just looks like it's little candles, because they're so white. Can I call them white? Yeah, I think I'll call them white, and they look beautiful. And they're very rigid and upright. Now, time to take them out earlier and earlier for me now. I'm starting to take those out in January, end of January. I have to. The weather is so crazy at the minute. So because it's getting warmer, summer's a nice one to have. Beautiful. Oh, this is a good one, but it's not flowering yet. This takes shade. This is Calamagrostis brachytricha. Beautiful flower head. Absolutely beautiful. Can't show you it yet. No point. This one and the one I'm going to show you next, which is Emadensis. This looks terrible at the moment. Produces the greenest seed head you'll ever see in a grass. Beautiful. But again, no point in showing you it. So here's Cabana Buta, one of the parents of the grass I showed you earlier. And it's not as tall this year, but again, it's because we haven't had enough water. This makes it to 5-6 foot every year in seed. The ones back there are definitely higher than the front ones, but they are a foot higher in the border, so I guess that's how it is. So very rich, very, very green, nice, like it. Some of the Miscanthus in this border, obviously we'll do another video on the Miscanthus. They're starting to get established in here now, including that one there. It doesn't look like it. In fact, it actually looks like that one there. It looks like Waldenbush. It's not. That's a Miscanthus, and a very old variety called Nishidark. Beautiful. Now this is Helictotrichum sempervirens. Gets a lot bigger than that, can make 2-3 foot. So it looks like, I would say, a festuca on steroids, and the leaves get to 3 foot, as I said, and they're very stiff but very blue. So if you've got an area of gravel, that would be well suited to that. Very good plant. Sends up seed heads as well, does seed around. That particular one I actually rescued from an house that had been abandoned, and I think it's Saphusfrudel, which is a nice variety. So I'm waiting. It's now in the garden, so over time we'll see what happens with that. One of the most elegant grasses is that. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Lamprophysis hyenronimi. Let's have a sit here. Right, so you can see it. Look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? I know, I think it's beautiful. Better than any flower, that. Absolutely stunning. It does like dry conditions, and by dry conditions I mean very dry conditions. So make sure you put that into a dry area where it will reward you, but you need 4 foot around it, because the leaves and the seed heads all sprawl out to around 4 foot. Now it ain't got that room there, but I'm prepared to walk past it and brush it and not be bothered, because I'm not. I love my grasses. So I'm going to end the video now, but I'm going to end it with this. It's beautiful. Let's show you. Now this is a buddleia. One of the best buddleias in my mind now. Absolutely love it. It's called Bressingham Bountiful, and I know I talk about it. There's my hand. I'll show you, get a better picture of my hand. There's my hand next to it. And it is huge and fat flowers, which is why I think they call it Bressingham Bountiful. I've not yet found out whether it is because of the flowers or whether it's because of the amount. I mean, look at them. There's hundreds, and I absolutely love it. And lots of people are getting into that now since I've mentioned it on my YouTubes. And people that come to the garden absolutely love it. So I've taken some cuttings. I shouldn't really, it's naughty, but I need to spread it around for Adrian. It's beautiful. I just love it. So we'll end it there. What shot shall we finish with? Let's finish with this shot, because you know I love this. So we'll end it with that shot. Any questions about grasses? I'm pretty good with grasses. I'm okay. There's a lot more grasses that I haven't shown you, that I'd like to show you, but my video's only so long, and this is the time of year when the ones I've shown you are looking pretty good. So just bear that in mind. But please get into grasses. Worth having. Definitely worth having, especially when you get scenes like that. And remember, that one's sterile, so it's not going to cause you a problem. Okay, I'll talk to you on the next one. Ta-ra.